We got away with that. Now this season, when I've used that phrase, that terminology, it's actually in relation to West Ham winning games, and I guess that is almost like a reflection of how far we've come and how well we've done, and possibly why this hurts a little bit more. Our standards haven't just gone up, they've flown up. Our standards are up here now for West Ham, so when we play bad like that, it hurts a little bit more, I think. But in regards to the phrase, it's usually when we win a game, when we turn up and we haven't been at our best, we've just won the game for whatever reason, maybe a couple of players have turned up, perhaps the other team weren't that great, and when we do the review, when we talk about the game, we'll say we weren't at our best today, but we've got the win. The 3 points is all that matters. We move on to next week, we got away with it, happy days. But not yesterday. Yesterday, the reason we got away with it is because of the results of Wolves and Manchester United. It's as simple as that, really. We've not lost any ground in the league. Nothing's really changed that much, except that what I would say is that when you were looking at the fixtures prior to Sunday, the winnable ones, you'd be picking out Brentford, you'd be picking out Norwich and Burnley, and possibly Brighton. Obviously, we've got Man City, Chelsea and Arsenal in there, and that's the 3 fixtures you look at and go, don't fancy having to get something from those games. The other ones were sort of our bread and butter, so we've lost one of them. We've lost one. And that's the one, and it's also the domino effect. I think it's the domino effect going forward. But in regards to the league as it stands, I don't think much has changed. And this is me trying to stay positive, believe it or not. I am trying to stay positive. I'm aware Arsenal got beat as well, but I don't see them in the same sort of competition as us, Man U and Wolves. I think they're just a little bit too far ahead. What yesterday would have done, had we won though, is dragged Arsenal into the same conversation. Say, no. You're not in the top 4 race, you're in the race for 5th. Get back here, Arsenal. But they can wipe their brow with relief that they're still sort of competing with Spurs for the top 4. But at the minute, the way I see it, as it stands, assuming Crystal Palace don't win the FA Cup, and we'll find out more this weekend with the semi-finals, assuming Palace don't win the FA Cup, 6 is getting Europa League, 7 is getting Europa Conference League, 8 is getting nothing, and it's between us, Man U and Wolves. One of us is getting the Europa League, one of us is getting the Conference League, one of us is getting zilch. Yesterday was a massive opportunity to put a little bit of daylight between us and Wolves, really go in the driving seat for 6 actually, but nothing's changed too much in regards to the league table, the statistics, the one thing that matters at the end of the day. I'm aware, man, you've got a game in hand over us, but that's away to Liverpool and they're banging a title race, so it works both ways, doesn't it though? Because we play Man City second last game of the season a few months ago. I was looking at that thinking, City will have the title wrapped up by then. Happy days. Pep will get his players to give Mark Noble a guard of honour in the 16th minute when he gets subbed off. Well, it doesn't look like the case, does it? It looks like City are going to be rocking up, needing to win, foaming at the mouth for 3 points. But we'll deal with that towards the end of the season. West Ham have got plenty of games to go, including a massive one on Thursday, but just a bigger one next Sunday against Burnley. And this is my worry. But before I get into that, this video is sponsored by the One Football app. Link in description and the pinned comments of this video. It's completely free to download. Get it downloaded. You probably won't want to check out the match reviews from yesterday, so maybe not click on the timeline just yet. But during the week, make sure you get it downloaded onto your phone and see what the team news is ahead of the Lyon game especially. And if you don't support West Ham, it doesn't matter. Get it downloaded for your club. I generally think it's the best football fan app for the football fan. It gives you a snapshot look into any club around, as well as all the competitions. Like I said, links in the description. Get it downloaded. It takes about 30 seconds. 30 seconds. I must have downloaded the One Football app about 4 years ago or something. Not deleted it since. Use it every single day. If you don't believe me, check out for yourself and then you'll see why. You will see why. Trust me. Now back to what I was talking about. And this is my big concern about yesterday. I can almost get over the defeat to some extent because we've got Thursday to look forward to. It helps massively. But on Friday, if you tuned into it, I did a video basically after the Lyon game. Almost like, bring on Lyon in the second leg. Come on then, after that injustice with the referee, the play acting from the Lyon players, bring it on. I was all hyped up and there was a lot of people agreeing with me in the comments, which was, it's always reassuring when people understand what you mean. You know you're not just chatting nonsense completely. Today, I woke up worried. I've generally woke up. My confidence has been knocked for 6 after yesterday's performance. Not just in regards to Thursday night, the Lyon game, but the Burnley game next Sunday, the rest of the season to some extent. I'm trying to convince myself yesterday was a one-off, but I can't do it. I found myself really worried this morning actually, which is, bear in mind, like I said, Friday, 4 days prior, I woke up like, come on then, we're going to do this. Monday, just after the weekend, I woke up the complete opposite. I don't like it at all. And like I said, I'm trying to convince myself that, don't worry, Gio, we're still going to turn up on Thursday. We're going to put Lyon out at the Europa League. Then we're going to smash Burnley on Sunday and we're back in the top 6 race. But I'm struggling. But the one thing that sort of reassures me is Wolves fans will be thinking the same, who got beat by Newcastle. And Man United fans will definitely be thinking the same, who just got beat by Everton. They'll also be thinking, oh, this season's rubbish. That is what I'm clinging to a little bit. But yesterday, I cannot blame fatigue for yesterday's defeat. I can't do it. I just don't believe it. I don't believe fatigue was the reason, because we didn't look tired. Well, we may have looked tired, but it wasn't just tiredness that was in that game. It was attitude, it was application. Everybody played poorly. It was the worst performance of the season by a country mile for us, as far as I'm concerned. And that's part of the reason why I'm starting in the back of my head saying, come on, Gio, it's the worst performance. That's why you lost. You're not going to do that. You're not going to have a repeat on Thursday. But I think that's what's concerned me. I've not seen us play like that in regards to attitude for a while. Other games we've got beat this season, other games we've played poorly this season, I've always felt we've tried, that we've given 100%, we've given everything to the cause, we just didn't turn up on the day. And I can accept that. We're West Ham, we're not Manchester City. Even Man City have their off days, not very often, only 1 or 2 a season. But even them, with world-class players, even they still struggle on occasions. Even Pep Guardiola gets it wrong, even on big occasions like that Champions League final. But yesterday, that attitude thing, I've not seen that for a while at West Ham. I remember when we did myself and Gonzo did player ratings for the Lyon game, and part of that we graded David Moyes. It was due to start 11 David Moyes. And after the Lyon game, I gave David Moyes quite a high mark, higher than Gonzo, which doesn't happen very often. And Gonzo thought, wow, you're being generous, we only drew. But the reason I gave it to Moyes is because the second half against Lyon, I thought we were fantastic. We defended really well, we were really well organised. And I thought the attitude and the team spirit and the work ethic is the reason we end up getting a draw against Lyon. And that is something that David Moyes has installed in this team. And that's why I gave Moyes a big mark. Not necessarily for the game, but as a reflection of what he's done at West Ham, that attitude that he... And yesterday there was just none of that. Brentford were better than us in every department. They wanted it more, they ran more, they worked harder, their tactics were better, their play performances were better. Everything. Brentford were better than West Ham all over the pitch yesterday. And it just woke up this morning a little bit worried. And like I said at the start, this is probably a reflection of how far West Ham have come. That we're 6th in the league and in the quarter-final of the Europa League with a really good chance of going through to the semi-final. It's still a fantastic season so far, and it still can be a fantastic season. But in order for it to be, we're going to need to finish in the top 6. If we end up finishing 8th and going out on Thursday night, it's still a good season. It's still a solid season. This is long-term sort of like, this is then... It's not a one-off. Last season's no longer a fluke. We finish top 8 again. This is what we want. Just some consistency, a little bit of a solid foundation to build on. But that's all it would be, a good season. We need top 6. I'll take top 7. I don't mind that Europa. I know a lot of people poo-poo that Europa Conference League, but I just can't get behind it. It's European football, 2 seasons on the bounce. Yes, not quite the same competition, Europa League, not as prestigious. I'm okay with it. Would I prefer the Europa League? Of course I would. Just like I prefer the Champions League to Europa League. But I'm okay with not being in it. I'm okay with any form of European football next season. But here we are now. 6 Premier League games to go. Massive ones. And then we've also got Thursday night as well. Now, in regards to yesterday, just quickly. Kurt Zouma obviously went off injured. I'm not convinced that that's the reason we got beat. I really am. And he was a big loss. Diop... It's got me a little bit worried because I thought Diop was actually in form. And then Moyes took him out of the team. I understand why, because we've got Zouma and Dawson. That's the best partnership we've got at the minute. But I think there's been 1 or 2 games perhaps where Moyes could maybe have put Diop in just to keep up his march sharpness if you want. He hasn't done. And yesterday he came off the bench, and I guess it justifies why Moyes hasn't played Diop a little bit more. But at the same time, he's a little bit rusty. But his performance yesterday's got me a little bit worried. And I'm praying that Kurt Zouma's fit for Thursday. But Zouma going off, I don't think changed the result. It maybe made us a little bit more sloppy. And obviously Diop contributed to the first goal by the throw-in and just not switching on at all for once he's given the throw-in. He's still just standing around, looking around. But in that half hour or so before Zouma went off, We weren't great then. We were that bad in the first half yesterday. We were that bad. I promise you, I thought it was our tactics. I genuinely thought we were trying to play like that because we were doing it consistently over the 45 minutes. I thought it was a part of Moyes' game plan to conserve energy. We were just passing it around at the back and in midfield. And I thought, okay, we're not posing much threat. Maybe Moyes got a plan up his sleeve. This is what we're going to do. And in the second half, we're going to switch up the tactics. And it's a way of just being a little bit patient or whatever. We're trying to play like we might have to play on Thursday at points to not do anything silly against Lyon. So I was like, okay. I'm okay with that. I'll give Moyes benefit of the doubt here. But after the second half, I thought, well, Jesus, it wasn't a game plan. We were just bad in the first half. We could only pass sideways in the first half. So the Kurt Zouma thing, I don't think... Did it change the game? Yeah, of course it did. It's easier to score against us when Zuma's not in our defence than it is when Zouma is in our defence. But we played poorly with Zouma for that first half hour as well. But I guess more concerning is the reminder, because it is a reminder. This isn't a discovery. We know this. It was just a reminder, and a harsh reminder, that we just don't have a plan B, that when Antonio don't work, it don't work. Because I think, even though I know people are now reminding everyone that he's only scored 1 goal since December, and it's been 12 games, I think, since he scored a goal. It's not great. But I do think, in the last 6-7 games, I don't know, I think he's played well in 5-6 of them. I remember one game he was poor in. I think it was the Tottenham away one. I remember him being poor. But the other ones, while he hasn't scored, I feel like he's played well. But yesterday was really bad from Antonio. That's his worst performance this season. I think he lost his head in the second half. There was one point Zanka came in the back of him. It may have been a free kick, it may not have been. I'm not sure. Antonio certainly thought he should have got a free kick. But Zanka came in. The ball certainly came away as if Zanka had won it. Antonio stayed down. Referee played on. Then Antonio eventually got up and almost ran after. Well, he didn't run. Atkinson was nearby, but he started shouting at Martin Atkinson. And then from then on, it just looked like he'd lost his head completely. And he had to be subbed. Now, I understand why Moyes subbed him. He had to take him off. But we saw what plan B was, which is put Bowen up front. It didn't work whatsoever. We didn't get better, we didn't get worse. It just didn't work. Bowen up front was ineffective. Now, of course, Bowen was not playing well up until this point either. It's not like he was playing really well in the right wing. We moved him up front and he turned rubbish. He was playing really poor for the whole game. But that was our plan B. Moyes told us after the January transfer window closed, I couldn't find a better striker to be backup to Antonio than Jared Bowen. Well, we finally saw plan B. We had to wait a while to see it because Antonio's been fit. It didn't work at all. And yes, that's what's concerned me a little bit going forward between now and the end of the season. What we're going to do if Antonio plays like he did yesterday, I'm not sure. We might move Bowen up front, we might put Yarmolenko on. I'm not confident it would work. And yesterday's just knocked me for 6 a little bit. It's not my confidence. I'm sure come Wednesday, come Thursday morning, my excitement will be through the roof. My optimism will go through the roof as well. I will start to believe we're going to put Lyon out of the Europa League again. But today I've just woke up a little bit shaky. I actually genuinely think it's nerves. I think it's nerves getting the best of me. Not because of the Europa League as well, because of the race for the top 6, if you like. The chance that we have another shot of having European football next season, and a very good, realistic and strong chance of European football in some form next season. And I think nerves are starting to creep in a little bit. I think I just want it that much that when yesterday happened, I almost felt sick at full time, to be honest with you. It didn't feel nice. It's been a long time since I felt like that, actually. But I genuinely felt a little bit sick. And I just think because of how huge it could be for the club, I think it's that. And I've just discovered that doing this video, actually. Sorry, you're like my... I'm offloading onto you today. You're like my therapist. Well, thank you, therapist, for listening to me. I appreciate it. The time for my session has come to an end now, so I will quietly depart. But if you have enjoyed this video somehow, do drop a like on it. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Tomorrow night we'll have the Lyon preview. Hopefully I'll be a bit more excited before I record the concert tomorrow. But anyway, I'm going to disappear now. Thank you again, and I'll catch you in a bit.